Atheism is the belief that there is no God. Humanism, which is related to atheism, is the ideology that values human reasoning over religion. Being opposed to religion, humanism embraces secularism. Now, those who argue in favor of atheism will claim that there is no evidence for the existence of God. Those who embrace atheism and humanism believe that society is better off without religion. They believe that the universe came about by chance and that we are the product of evolution. Some atheists and humanists are indifferent toward religion, while others are openly antagonistic toward the people of God. A 2018 and 2019 study found that just 4% of Americans identified themselves as atheists. If it seems like that number should be higher, that's an indication of how vocal atheists often are in their opposition to belief in God. However, the nones, a category which includes atheists, agnostics, and those who say their religion is nothing in particular, grew to 23% of the United States population in 2014. The same study found that the nones are becoming less religious. About 81% of Americans believe that humans evolved over time, but just 33% believe that humans and other living things evolved solely through natural process. But what does the Bible say? The Bible tells us that God is the creator and rules over the universe. The Bible begins with these words, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." The psalmist wrote, "Know that the Lord himself is God. It is he who has made us, and not we ourselves." Psalm 100 and verse 3. His sovereignty is over all things in heaven and earth. Psalm 103 and verse 19. But also he has provided evidence in creation for his existence. Beyond the statements in the Bible, there is existence, or there is evidence of the existence for God found in the physical world all around us. Psalm 19 and verse 1 says, "The heavens are telling the glory of God, and their expanse is declaring the work of his hands." Paul explained that in the created world, God's invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse. Romans 1 and verse 20. The world around us, with the provisions that God has made that allow life here to continue, serve as a witness for God's power, his goodness, and his care for man, as evidenced by Acts 14 verses 15 through 17. But God also expects us to have a reasonable basis for our faith. Though atheists claim that faith in God is unreasonable, God expects us to have a faith in him that is based upon evidence. The writer of Hebrews defined faith in this way. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11 and verse 1. When Paul taught the gospel, he provided reasons and evidence as to why people were to believe his message about Christ in Acts 17, verses 2 through 3. But the psalmist tells us that the fool says that there is no God. Because of the evidence for the existence and the power of God, that leaves the unbeliever without excuse. Romans 1 and verse 20. And as I said, the psalmist mentions in Psalm 14 and verse 1, "The fool has said in his heart, there is no God." Those who reject God want to portray Christians as being foolish, yet they are the ones who have rejected the plain evidence for God in favor of the unproven and unprovable counter-theories of men. But also the scriptures tell us that man has been placed over creation, but is not in the place of God. Atheism and humanism contain the belief that man is the most highly evolved form of life in the world, and there is no God above man. Now, it is true that man is above all living creatures on the earth, but this is because God put man in this position since he was made in the image of God, Genesis 1 verses 26 through 28. Yet man is not God, and can never be in the place of God. So what's the bottom line? Friends, God has provided evidence for mankind that proves His existence. Yet many have rejected this evidence, have refused to submit to God, and have placed themselves in a place of preeminence in this world. Friends, we thank you for joining us for our program today, and have a blessed day.